I don't have to upload a recording because I find that super does not fit into my workflow. Okay, good morning, everybody. Let's see. I don't even know where my phone is. Oh, it's in my pocket. Hey. So, welcome to week 42 of YouTube University. And yeah, no, it's always fun dealing with tech issues and stuff like that. So, I hope you've all had a great week. I got to do a net. We're back in Texas right now. We've got a trade show this weekend in Bryan, College Station, Texas, and I've been asked to speak on stage at 12 to 1, not about YouTube University, but about how to not get hacked. However, I'm going to make sure I pitch YouTube University as well at the end. And I think I figured out I don't have a script, but I think I figured out a smart way to intertwine the two. So that's the fun thing about being a business owner and getting to speak to people is figuring out what you're going to talk about when you get on stage and not fumbling over your own words. So, let's see. Do we have anything in the chat yet? So I can good morning, Chris. I see Christensen. We got a couple people in here. Perfect. Has anyone worked on their YouTube channels this week and come into technical problems or anything that they have any questions about? I take that as a no.
Well, if we're gonna start, let's start with the shorts and the longs, because remember I was talking about the comment that I'd seen and how I've noticed when I do my long and then I'm making shorts from it. I don't know what YouTube's doing in the back end, so maybe we acknowledge there's been a lot of changes. And I know that one email as well that we were talking about.
You can remind me.
Okay. Okay. Well, the first part was there was somebody that posted that they've been testing it with their clients, whether they're doing the longs or the
Oh,
shorts, right?
yes. It's because attention's split right now. So if you are building, I got a dog fight going on. Hey. Okay. It's just because attention's split right now. So you're gonna have to discuss focus on it's really audience discovery because if you're of course YouTube, has there's different ways to get attention on your YouTube channel. You can do vertical, you can do horizontal. The reason there's a mix format like that is because I viewership's changing. Traditionally, YouTube was only desktop, laptop, computer, and then it was shifted to mobile devices, so phones. But now, since the number one device watching YouTube has shifted to smart TVs, we've got creators stuck between. We were trained to do horizontal, then we were trained to do vertical for to capture um, smartphone eyeballs, and now everything's going to TV. So the nice thing with Restream, how we're broadcasting this, is that we can choose both to stream to YouTube in vertical and horizontal at the same time. Challenge is your audience. Has your audience, how's your audience watching you? Are they watching you on a horizontal device or a vertical only device? And when we're teaching people how to get eyeballs and traffic and subscribers to their YouTube channel, um, everybody's kind of got a different method. I say make content. So get used to making content so we can build up your audience. So where our audience with YouTube University is, you know, technically anyone under 1,000 subscribers and or under the 4,000 watch hours. So what we've known, so what YouTube coaches, what people with larger channels have noticed in a nutshell is that if you're if you're doing both horizontal and vertical, the audience eyeballs are going to vertical and may not your longs aren't getting as much views because you've got this new audience coming in, only capturing you, only seeing you on phones. So channels with channels like receive a lot of analytics, they get a lot of views, they get a lot of watch time. They're noticing that their shorts are getting more watch time than their longs, but that might just be because they're focused right now on doing a lot of shorts, and they've got new eyeballs coming in, not watching their longs. So I think it just really depends on what stage you are at in your YouTube journey.
Well, and I know that somebody had mentioned with that too, is that they're either showing like if there's more traction on their longs, their shorts are not getting any more traction too, right? So then there was a whole thing about putting out too many shorts, but there was also an email from vidIQ about three different things that YouTube has changed just in the last like 3, 4 weeks that have like dramatically changed. So I think YouTube is really just testing out a bunch of different things to see where people are landing. Obviously, we're still at the same thing where it's like you want to make the content because if you don't have content, there's nothing that anybody's going to see, right? And then it's testing out because we were discussing about how the shorts in our perspective are really the commercials for your long, right? But if you make too many shorts and you've gotten more longs, maybe your shorts aren't getting seen. So it's like, oh my gosh, how do you appease the AI algorithm gods of
Well, this is
right?
why I don't focus on short-term analytics. I say, hey, what have we done? How have we moved the needle on your YouTube channel in the last 6 months? Because my experience is people are getting stuck and frustrated because they've been doing it a long time. They're like, well, I'm not getting traction. I'm stuck. I've literally been stuck at 500 subs and I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm like, okay, well, from the outside, obviously I may or may not be the target audience for your content, but from the outside I don't see this. Like I'm just like I'm like I just give you my 2 cents. I'm like, here's what I would change in order for me, who will watch your YouTube on both, because when I'm in front of my phone, when I meet somebody and I'm looking at their YouTube, I will watch it on the mobile device, but I'm also a tech analyst. So what I like to do is I make sure YouTube's one of those funny beasts where, since it fits on so many different platforms, the video content fits on so many different platforms. Um, I want to make sure it looks nice and pretty on a mobile phone, a tablet, a 13-inch laptop, a 22-inch desktop monitor, and then the 70-inch TV. In some, if you're a doctor's office or a pharmacy waiting room or whatever, and they're going to be putting their YouTube channel on in their waiting room, I want to make sure your visuals look good across all platforms. So that's the angle I'm coming from, and that's not the same angle you're thinking about when you're creating your channel. So it's like, hey, I want to make sure your thumbnail fits all the different platforms, so that way your call to action and so I'm coming at it from a very analytical angle. I want to make sure no matter who your audience is, their experience on your YouTube channel is pretty looking, it's clean, it's organized. And that's not how creators are typically, and chat other YouTube coaches are like, hey, let's just run ads. Let's just run ads. I'm like, well, ads are fine, but if your channel's not built to actually convert your audience into buyers, then you're just going to be wasting ad spend. You might get like a lot of channels we look at, you might end up driving 1 million subscribers to the page, but if there's no call to action, you're not converting anybody into whatever you're selling, and then you're not getting watch time because the content sucks. Having 1 million subs is just an ego flex. So it's just, there was another update. I got an update yesterday, and I thought I did a live about this when I was setting up the trade show booth. Because because YouTube, they're testing stuff every single day. So this is why we're just telling, YouTube University just content, and as we learn how your brain and your workflow process works with the YouTube app and uploading frequency. And once we start getting analytics back about where your known audience, your YouTube audience is, and the times they're watching your videos, because you may be based in Canada or US, and then find out you have a huge international following. That's what most of us find is, hey, chunk in Canada, chunk in USA, chunk in China, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, wherever else, because they've got possibly more time to watch your content and support you. And once we start getting those analytics back, then we can start fine-tuning and tweaking things on it and posting schedules and all that type of stuff. But when you're getting started out, or you're stuck under the 1,000 subs and under the 4,000 watch hours, it's really just about being consistent and making new content, uploading that once a week, and learning how to play with your thumbnails and learning what titles and hooks and all the stuff people are going to tell you need to eventually learn. Well, we're going to eventually learn all that stuff as we're adding content. But one big thing I saw in the YouTube up, we were hoping we were going to get to the invited to the YouTube party this week in Austin, Texas for South by Southwest, because we signed up for it. And we were told we were accepted. And then, like 4 hours before the party started, they're like, sorry, it's full. You're not invited. And we're like, okay, that's fine. This is what happens with YouTube, is sometimes they give us a week's notice to show up for an event, and sometimes they give us no notice at all that we're on the wait list. But this update I was looking at yesterday when I heard about the news was thumbnails are changing. So one struggle I've had with larger YouTube accounts is that we know that people have big TVs in there, since viewing patterns are changing, and TV watching YouTube on TV is now replacing watching it on mobile device as the number one device for YouTube consumption, because simply because people now have TVs in the kitchen, in their man cave, in their living room, in their garage. Anybody probably's got a smart TV in their house somewheres, and that smart TV's got YouTube built into it. So it's super simple now for people to discover new channels, your channel, on their TV, simply because that technology exists where a couple years ago it didn't exist. But what I've noticed is, um, yeah, even our business partner Julio in New Jersey, he's like literally his TV in his kitchen's on YouTube like all day long, and he's like, "Hey, Julie, you haven't made a new video about Oracle cards," or like he's telling us, "I'm watching. Where's the new content?" But what I've noticed with TVs is, because you've got such large real estate, um, YouTube thumbnails have always been a problem, because when you go to make your you can let YouTube auto suggest a thumbnail for you, and then we'll just grab something from your video clip, or you can go and upload your own thumbnail. And some people use Canva for that, some people use Adobe Photoshop, and some people just use ChatGPT or Google Gemini or some AI tool to make a thumbnail. Thumbnails have been limited to 2 megabytes. So no matter how good you make it look visually, on an 80-inch TV, they don't really look that great. YouTube's up. I don't know if it's been pushed yet, but I got an email yesterday that they've increased the size of the thumbnail from 2 megabytes to 50 megabytes, which is a massive increase in quality and size. So, um, not to stress you out, there's just always going to be updates like that where I'm like, hey, now the people who are really into a sexy looking, pretty looking YouTube channel, and they're really keen on their thumbnails, now they can go really like 4K, 8K quality with the thumbnails. So just
Oh,
something to be aware of is that there's always going to be these little, Julie and I discovered something else this week, which is kind of is um
you're
super
right.
annoying with our YouTube channels as well. So anyway, there's main point of YouTube University. There's always going to be these updates every single week, and you might feel behind. You're like, well, I didn't know about this, didn't know about this. Just go into the if you can't. if Saturday class doesn't work
Um,
for you, you can always go into the Facebook group and just drop questions. If you're having an issue, we're having an issue right now with our we went and updated something on our AdSense, and now we can't change anything with our monetization of our videos in the back end because we have to wait for tech support, which is a little bit annoying. So there's always something going on at YouTube, which is to confuse you or annoy you, or and I'm like, that's what we're here for, to help you step through all the changes or the things you may not be privy to in the YouTube world, just because we
well,
don't.
it's a lot, right? Because not to cut you off, but so I they've been telling me to take my payment. That's essentially it. They've been like, you need to take your payment. I finally made enough money to get paid, right? And they wanted all this tax information we didn't have. And then we got our corporation in place. Well, now it's like very much in this weird phase where now we're kind of waiting in limbo. So it's an interesting process because now I'm like, I don't know if I'm monetized. I don't know if I'm not. I'm just sitting in limbo. So the idea with this too is that not to get so hung up on it as like an income. The idea is we're using it as a stream for people to see you, right? So it depends on what your there's so many different returns on investment. It's not getting hung up on these things, and we get to go through it first so we can help you when you get there, right? That is
Well,
the
and that's just what I've said. It's like there's so many different ROIs, return on investments you can expect from YouTube. Um, like monetization can be classified as a bunch of different things. Like when you're starting out with YouTube, you'll notice at one point your channel goes from that YouTube not running ads at all on your content to then they are starting to run ads on your content. And some people don't like ads being run on their content, and I'm like, this is a perfect example of why you should get to your 1,000 subscribers and your 4,000 watch hours, because when you get to that level, you then have the ability to turn on or off ads because you're able to go in there and say, hey, I don't want ads from you get to pick and choose what type of industries you want to or don't want to see ads on. I don't care because I was like, hey, the YouTube stuff is my free content, and that's how I'm building an audience. And also another part of another part of the monetization is once YouTube sees you consistent, then they're sending those high authority backlinks from your YouTube videos to Google search. And then there's all these other ways I calculate monetization from YouTube. So it's just in so, but once you get to that threshold where where you're allowed to apply to receive a part of the when YouTube's running ads on your YouTube channel, um, it's tied into AdSense. So when you achieve the interval where you're allowed to apply to receive a chunk of the ad money, then you have to verify your identity, and you got to set up an AdSense account and link it to your website. You don't have to link it to your website, but they really want you to link it to your website so they can track the traffic coming from YouTube going to your website, vice versa. And then supply bank account information, which we've done on all of our accounts, but they also then want to send you a postcard in the mail to verify you have that address. I've got accounts in limbo where we've never received that. I posted that on my Facebook channel this week where I've got at least one account where I've not ever received the postcard. So for over a year, that channel's been qualified to be monetized where I could get a chunk of money, but I've never received the postcard. So it's in limbo. And it's like, oh, wait, now since we're setting up this US LLC and business banking and all this stuff, I'm like, hey, maybe I can like regain or I can get the I think Mr. Chemetsky had made a comment on my Facebook post this week that he wasn't sure what I was talking about. It's like, hey, we're going through this process and documenting it, so when you get to it, it's hopefully less frustrating because it's not really YouTube's got some videos on their YouTube channel of creators about how the process of getting to monetization and then being approved for monetization and then actually receiving your first paycheck from them because you'll see your bank balance on the back end growing. But they want you to get to a certain threshold before they pay you. And if they go to pay you and something's rejected or they don't like it, then they start sending you warnings that you have to like finish the setup process. And guess what? As soon as you go to finish the setup process, they may Julie's AdSense right now is frozen for 32 days because I updated the tax information this week. And I was like, so what that really means is since on our back end we've got a handful of monetized accounts, but when you go to upload a video onto YouTube, YouTube's just not going to turn on monetization on your videos for you. It's a homework step. It's a production checklist. You have to go make sure it's turned on. And earlier this week, before we kind of froze our accounts, um, we noticed that when Julie went live on Sunday, I was on the back end turning on monetization on her lives. And of course she's doing both a vertical and a horizontal stream, or vertical and horizontal stream. I have to turn on monetization for both. Why would we need to turn on monetization for both? They're two separate streams, and when we go live, we know we're going to get live viewers. So the whole point of getting monetization is, hey, we're going live, we're going to have live viewers. If we go live for an hour and those viewers are watching for the full hour, we want our pennies, quarters, dimes, dollar bills, whatever YouTube says we've earned for that live stream, right? So I turned that stuff on Sunday when she went live. And then she noticed when she went to do her check, monetization was off. And I was like, okay, this is super interesting because we know we have to go manually turn monetization on for every single video and then choose which niche it's in or what if we approve or disapprove of ads from any particular advertising niche. Um, and then monetization was off. So we're like, okay, well always updates at YouTube. There's always something going on. And with like war in the Middle East and data centers being wiped out all over the Middle East, I'm like, what's going on with YouTube and how accurate are all these are these temporary changes? Is it long-term change? So we noticed that on Sunday, and then of course I went and updated the tax ID with the like US bank account. US bank account. I went and updated that stuff on Tuesday and like froze her monetization for 32 days. So the little check mark to turn on to get videos monetized is missing. And YouTube's like, well, you're not unmonetized, but you have to wait for the systems in place to run. So we're thinking when they go to pay us out, maybe it will be turned on once they can verify they pay us. So we're not really sure. So it's a fun process of documenting the ins and outs of being a monetized YouTuber with multiple accounts and consistencies or inconsistencies we find across our different channels that we have. And it's infuriating because you're like, wait a minute, I didn't know updating my bank account information was going to freeze my monetization for 32 days. It is like, well, does that make you lose um motivation to do I'm like my wife's probably thinking she's losing her motivation to do her Sunday live stream, but I'm like, you need to keep consistent for the audience regardless of whether or not YouTube's going to pay you 5 cents, 10 cents,
I'm
25
too
cents a live
stubborn.
stream.
Like a few pennies it's gonna pay me. I'm still gonna show
Well,
up
I
because
know,
I
I
need
know,
people to
but so
see me.
this is when it comes to when it comes to YouTube monetization, I'm like, there's just so many aspects of it. It's not just receiving a chunk of the ad revenue. It's showing up consistently for the audience, building that dis muscle of discipline to keep, because we're not just streaming on YouTube. We're also streaming Julie's channel on Rumble and Substack and Facebook and wherever and TikTok. TikTok, we got a lot of views. Well, we got views on TikTok last week after it finally let us do a live stream after testing it for like a couple weeks, and there's them saying no, 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 no. We're like, boom, it went live, and I'm like, perfect. So, um, consistency matters, and not letting any hiccups of the week discourage you from going live stream and connecting with your audience and finding out what your audience wants you to offer them this week, right?
Well, it's just keeping the whole thing of remembering the point is getting your message out there. Whatever your message is, getting it out so people can see you and find you is really the goal, right? Lucy has a question about the importance of the cover photo and all the info she's got a new channel. So she started about 10 days ago. Um, how to 10 days ago for how to tech content. So not her other niches. So she has very little subs. So what would you say about the cover photo and stuff? Because I know we went through that recently where we updated everything to kind of link
Well,
back.
we updated it just so that way, um, we wanted our call to action to be like on the YouTube, the oh my God, the YouTube background, your cover art
Yeah, the
background.
cover
Um,
photo.
I wanted it to show up, be high visibility, so easy to because I'm one of those people. If I look at something and I'm like, oh, it's too like if I can't read the text, that's a super challenge. Even I got 20/20 vision. If I can't read something, I'm like, what am I reading? Like, I want the text to pop and then the call to action to be there. Because I find a lot of people don't have any call to actions on their thumb. It just says their name or it has their picture. And then I was like, wait a minute. Like, I just like it to be. I should actually read the question. That's I think it's super important
It is.
because
Well, especially if you're putting your, like, if you've got a website built to it. Like, I was just bringing up mine to see what we've got online.
Well,
Um,
I designed yours because I was like, we wanted, if it was, I just find that sometimes people are like, you do,
so
but I,
if you look here, I just took over.
yes.
So we did this with it, right? So we've got my website, we've got the app that I'm working on, kind of got some details, and then Mike made up a QR code and it gives a link so everything's there because when you set up the page, you've got the options here where you can put a couple of links, right? So you got my description. Oh, there we go. And then it's got a couple of call to actions. You can put some links there, but it doesn't mean people are going to necessarily click on them, right? When they go to your actual YouTube page, this just makes it right in your face, right? Like it's the ideas in my mind, constantly just giving them the same information so they can find you. So I
Well,
think that this is a better way because before it was just a background image. I'm going, make it more specific, especially if you do have a website linking back. If you don't, you can probably just, put something or put your own
it's
email
early though.
address, right?
That's your call to action. It's step one and step two. Just realize that um, when people find you, what do you want them to do? Do you want them to watch the video? Do you want them to sign up on your mailing list? Do you want them to subscribe? And do you want them to pay you money? Like you have like people like when they get into the doom scroll, I don't like calling it doom scrolling because that's more so Instagram and Facebook and stuff like that. When you realize you've spent an hour watching videos and you have no idea day, time, or what you're doing. YouTube's more so informational, so I don't like calling it doom scrolling, but people are being introduced to you for the first time. What do you want them to do? Do you want them to watch your videos? Do you want them to share? This is why on Julie's, it's literally number one is subscribe. And number two is sign up. That QR code's to sign up for the mailing lists to get access to the astrology ecosystem that she's building, that we've been building for ourselves to make our network to make our travel easier and friction free and to make building relationships much smoother because what we've noticed building businesses and meeting and helping people out is that not everybody agrees with you, and some cities just do not want you to travel through there because you're going to just run into issues with your vehicle. So we're like, hey, what we're doing is my wife's been building this astrology, and it ties into, and it's kind of interesting because everything she's done for on her video like on Julie's journey building her YouTube channel. Started out, the business is called Breathe Within Yoga. That's what she's been doing for years. There was a physical studio in Canada until COVID happened, and then nobody's allowed to show up. So we're like, hey, we'll take it online and we'll put free yoga resources on the YouTube channel online. And then she's broadened her offerings. So we're like, it's all kind of coming full circle now because all that stuff's in her astrology ecosystem, right? But we've, focused right now on building this astrology app because people ask us, hey, how do you navigate relationships? How do you navigate offering services to people and dealing with people who ghost you and this and this? Or how do you plan your travel? Because we see you're based in Canada, but you go to Dubai, you go to the Middle East, you go to America. How are you sane while doing all this stuff? And our answer is we've been planning it based on astrology for like since early 2025. I'm in 2026 now. So, and we've had like we've been there. We've had flight delays. We've had our truck
When they
breakdown.
weren't booked, when they weren't booked around dates, when it was just the most like cheapest was when there
Exactly.
was the most issues. And then when
Exactly.
we actually looked at dates, it was very interesting, right? And I would love to say building this app is wonderful and easy. It is. I get why people do not build a lot of vibe coding apps or do it because you have to you lose your mind a few times. That's all I can say. It's coming along, but I'm not gonna say it's been
But but
easy.
but what we've learned, this is why we're building this astrology app, is not you're gonna have plans. You're like, hey, I want to live stream every single day. That may not work out for you based on your astrology charts because there may be tech issues, there may be too many things else, there
Well,
might
and
be all
that's
these
also
there might be all these environmental factors in your life that stop you from actually doing what you're gonna have a business, start with a business plan, say, hey, I'm gonna live stream this day, this time. Don't be so rigid about it because it may not work and it may take you months or a year to figure out your actual workflow with making content, getting a studio that like a quiet space. I obviously am live streaming this from not quiet space. I got a teenager iPad right there. I got three dogs who just had a fight in the kitchen, and I'm parked in a random parking lot at a brewery in Texas. So at any point, there's noise, there's train, all this stuff. So I don't even know what time zone I'm in right now. So we've built this astrology app to just kind of make thing we're like, hey, we've been Mr. Chemetsky, who's in the call, he invited us to Long Island, and I'm like, perfect. Let's take him up on that offer because we want to bring in-person YouTube University to that area. And then I have somebody else who invited me, and I'm like, okay, God, I got all these invites to go to New York, and it's of course my most favorite place to haul my RV to. No. Uh, so let's go type the dates and the city and the areas into the astrology app and just figure out if May, June, July of 2026 is going to work for us in that area, in those cities. Because if it says yes, then I'm like, okay, it should be smooth sailing, other than, yes, I understand I may run into flat tires, truck maintenance, something might break on the trailer, but as long as it's not my truck breaking down in Chicago and losing it for 4 months, I'm okay. Because I'm gonna say we did not type when we plant October of 2025 while we were building stuff, we did not have the astrocartography part of the app built. Um, we weren't at that point yet, so we did not type. We were actually an interesting story. I'd been invited to a stage in Phoenix, and I was like, perfect. This I it was our last winter was our first full winter as snowbirds in the US because the previous winter we spent time in Dubai. So last winter was the first full winter of snowbirds in the US. And we weren't sure where we were going to go, but I had an invite to be on a stage in Phoenix or Scottsdale, Arizona. Huge internet celebrity. We had VIP hookups, all that stuff. That event was canceled within 2 weeks' notice. And I was like, hey, okay, well, where do we go? And then I had somebody from Delaware reach out, and David Chemetsky knows who that is because we were on the same stage together. Um, and the person's like, "Hey, do you want to come to Delaware for November?" And I was like, "Sure," because my thing in Scottsdale, Arizona was just canceled on me. So we're like, "Hey, we'll just drive to Delaware." But we got a friend, Mr. David Rudenauer, in Chicago. So hey, Chicago is on our way to Delaware, so we'll just swing through Chicago on our way to Delaware, and my kid can do Halloween trick-or-treating. Well, Indiana, Hammond, Indiana, but we did not type that trip into our app because the app wasn't quite there yet. It wasn't in, we were working on it, but it wasn't quite there yet. The astrocartography feature wasn't there. And that's when the truck blew a transmission, and we were without a truck in a foreign country for 4 months. We're done with that type of drama when we travel. So this is why we've built this
In fairness,
astrology
it
app.
doesn't guarantee there's no drama because life
It
can,
is exactly.
astrology can give you themes of things and we can plan around it. Like the
But
best way is the Awakened Light helps people make sovereign decisions using timing, psychology, and structural
but
awareness.
I'm also going to
So we're
bring up
looking
because that stage that I went to, I had a really negative experience with somebody there, and I was like, maybe I wasn't supposed to be. Maybe I wasn't supposed. I met some cool people and and have some new relationships from it, but I had a really negative experience after my stage speak. Like the speaker after me was like one of the rudest people I ever met and called me out in front of everybody, and that kind of like soured my relationship with that organization a little bit. So I was like, and we didn't know. So I was like, hey, I'm just a business owner and I help people with their technology and now I help them with their YouTube channel. So I'm going to just sort through whatever garbage gets thrown my way and decide whether or not I want to have these relationships with people, right? But I was like, wow, it would have been interesting to know what astrology held for us before agreeing to go on that trip. Things worked out and we have better relationships because we went that way. It's just like not knowing, it's our when we were just in we weren't sure before we went to before we did this side trip to Florida, we were sitting here in Texas because I had a bunch of things in Florida that people wanted me to come to and they were all canceled. Like my co-author was supposed to have some one of my co-authors was supposed to have something in Florida and she canceled that last minute. So I was like, okay, whatever. Florida's calling, but two or three things canceled. And we're like, well, we got this invite with my buddy Jose in Tampa, but do I just go to Florida because of Tampa? And then we ended up getting these comped tickets for this webinar summit in Miami. And I was like, hey, I'll check with Sarah to see Sarah, my friend Sarah, see if she's going. I'm gonna check with these people to see if they're going or not because Texas to Miami is a bit of a drive, and let's type it into the app and see what the app says. And the app's like, it's going to be amazing personal connections, which it was. We've got a lot of new friends, and we discovered a lot of things about Florida we didn't know before. So now Florida is way easier for us to be there long term because we've got a bunch of new connections. But it warned us that we were going to have this road issues. And I'm like, road issues. What are road issues considered? Um, it just meant we were gonna blow suspension on the wake up in Gainesville, Florida, do a safety check on the RV, and realize we had something on the RV to fix. And we're like, okay, that's fine. I've already got experience fixing the RV on the side of the road, so it's only 2, 3 hours out of my day. It's not a problem. We still showed up in Florida. We showed up in Miami 2 a.m. drove into my, we were there, we made it, and then all these other cool things have happened, and we've got a lot of new interest in YouTube University, and we got these invites now to come to Long Island in May to teach in person. So it's like, and just keep
Fairness,
making.
I have to say, I so was not even I did not want to go. I'm not gonna lie. I'm going through the app and I'm like, oh, it's telling me like it's worth it. Like we're gonna make this connection. And even like it's saying one big connection, which I know for sure we made one connection with somebody who's got a lot of followers. And then Mike ended up at the other event, which he made more connections. So it was
Well,
kind of like
we've got
I
an
was so not even up for it,
and I've
but
got
the app convinced me.
and I've got a new show on Mondays. We met Jimmy, and we got a new show. We got a new YouTube show on Mondays. I haven't announced it yet because we're just doing it, but we got a new show. I got a new show on Mondays on YouTube because I went to Florida and met somebody really cool, and then we went and hung out with them, and then they're like, "Why haven't we met you before?" I'm like, "Timing wasn't right." And you're looking for new opportunity, and I'm always looking to help people get onto YouTube, and I need more content, right? And I want content from somebody else who's been in a different industry for me for 30 years. You've been training people on sales, so this is perfect because everyone needs a different perspective and different experiences and all that fun stuff, and different coaches and different coaches all the time because you may find out you really like somebody's style, but then you hang out with them in person and you're like, maybe if even though I like this, maybe if I've outgrown this circle of people. So that happens. But anyway, enough about me and Julie. Anybody got
So
questions?
the point is with the essentially to summarize that up, the cover photo, it's a very valuable tool because if you kind of think about your homepage of YouTube is kind of like your website of YouTube, right? Like that's essentially it. It's your mini website within YouTube, and that's your landing page. So when people go back, it's a great place to put call to actions or anything you want that's important. And if you add it into your cover photo, it's easy for the user to see.
I would almost say if you're not like I was talking to a lawyer yesterday, one of my clients, and he's like, I need a new website. And I was like, I would almost suggest that you just focus on a YouTube um channel. Just because you don't sell anything online, he's got no interest on selling anything online, and all he wants people to do is book in his calendar. So it's like that. I'm like, I think, I think the YouTube works. This is one of those ROI things I was talking about. I think it works really well as a top of funnel when people are just meeting you because you can have like all your information about who you are, what you do right there. Links if you want any links, a link to your, QR code to a booking calendar, like whatever. Like I think it's and it's free. It's free. And then as
Exactly.
soon as you learn how to build an audience and convert audience traffic into booking, then you can come up with your offers and start building out your ascension ladder. And if you don't know what ascension ladder is, it's really just in any business, you're going to have what you offer. It could be free, could be a $5 item, a $10 item, a $50 item, a $1,000 item, a $5,000 item, a $10,000 item. That's your ascension ladder. So people usually find you because they want advice or they need help with something. And they're a return customer if you can sell them on something different. And then um, anyway, my training comes from Russell Brunson of ClickFunnels, and I was never successful on ClickFunnels because I'm in IT and I had like 1,000 different offers. But YouTube's done really well for me because when I just people ask me questions and I literally just make them a video, throw the video on YouTube, and I send them the link, and I'm like, hey, here's how you do it, and you can do it yourself if you've got no budget. That's the done by yourself or DIY, do it yourself. And then if you want me to help you with it, then book a call, share your screen on Zoom. I'll step you through solving your tech issue or solving your YouTube issue. That's the done with you. And then if they want to pay more money and have a done for you service, then I'll just take care of everything. So I've got the DIY stuff, done with, do it yourself, done with you, and done for you. And that's kind of my ascension ladder. I got like three, you know.
Well, and just kind of going back to that, like if you can see here, I just wanted to highlight again, you can put your links. So having a website's not bad, but you really don't even need to pay for one. You can have one as a landing page, and there's so many that you can literally just throw up a website for free at this point, and then you can link it back. And then here they can email you, so you can have an area for that. So it's just a great way that you can already put that in. So it is super valuable. And because once you are monetized, and if you're constantly putting out the content, the return is better. The return is better. You get found on, like I showed was it last week, where you can be found on Google,
Well,
and your YouTube will come up before your
and
website.
that's also what did we discover this week with your Google Maps?
Oh, well, now I guess I'm in Biloxi, Mississippi.
So
That's where I am.
you know, we've been talking about all the different returns on investment you can achieve because of your YouTube channel. We've been trying to get Julie's business, breathewithinyoga.com, listed on Google Maps for a while, and it's just been sitting in limbo. And I just got an email this week that we got the blue check mark for verification, and I think it's really just because she's consistently, YouTube channel's called Breathe Within Yoga, her website's called breathewithinyoga.com, and I had applied for Google Maps under breathewithinyoga.com, but they tagged us. There's no street address. It's interesting. There's no street address, and Google Maps tagged us in Biloxi, Mississippi, which is where we spent a lot of time with no working. That's where we parked our RV last winter when we had no working vehicle. So we were in Biloxi, Mississippi, December 2nd, 2024 until March 31st, 2025, and my wife would have been posting all of her video content from the beach in Biloxi, Mississippi. So now we've got this verified Google Maps listing. And I was
Okay,
like, okay,
and it's
I will.
funny because I did notice that in the back end, it shows me, it's been showing me for a while that I was in Biloxi, Mississippi, and I'm like, okay. And I was always wondering, and then the fact that I'm now on Google Maps under there, I'm like, I guess I'm just supposed to be there. It's just the interesting thing about getting on Google Maps, having our experience from everything from overseas to up the New Jersey to Canada to Biloxi, Mississippi, is the weirdest thing is it's not created equal. Wherever you're at is not the same process because clearly each jurisdiction is a little different to get on Google Maps, which is an interesting
Oh,
process to go
that's all
through.
because we didn't have to submit any photos for because obviously our home address is in Canada, so that's where I had originally submitted the Google Maps request was Canada, and Google's like, no, you're uploading YouTube stuff from Biloxi, Mississippi. So I was like, okay, I guess that's fine. We'll take that Google Maps listing. But our our office in New Jersey, that was a long time. That was like 6 months of traveling back and forth. We had to do utility bill state. We had to do pictures and video of the business of the street where the house is, and we had to submit utility bills, and we had to go through this whole rigmarole. And Google Maps called us one day. They're like, "We haven't approved it because we don't like how the website looks." And I'm like, why does it matter how the website looks like? And they're like, change these three things on your, at the time I was using Go High Level for my website. They're like, change these three things on it and then we'll approve it. And I was like, okay. So it's just super interesting how working on this YouTube channel and being consistent. Um,
Because they feed into each other, right? So there's this whole
exactly.
thing of YouTube feeding into Google. So it's very interesting because I even was going on one trip to Dubai myself, and I was doing another video because we had to do another one where I had to show that I could unlock the door to break into Julio's house with his approval. And it was just such a weird rigmarole. And then to have this experience with being able to easily get on Google Maps Biloxi is just like that completely different experience. And no comment about the website, no comment about anything else.
Well, I just think because AdSense is tied into everything that Google's seeing that there's traffic. You're driving views to YouTube. So they're like, hey, we're gonna check mark the website, check mark the Google Maps listing because there's other cool things we can talk. I got a lot of other ROI concepts that I've figured out from YouTube because you can really, as I said, the reason we're telling you to do this and why we run this class is that YouTube sends so many high, because YouTube's owned by Google, YouTube sends so many high authority backlinks from YouTube to Google. And when you look up certain people, you'll notice that some people don't even show up on a Google search. That's just because they don't have search engine optimization working for them and they don't have enough high authority backlinks from other from like press releases or whatever. They don't have enough things feeding Google, so they don't show up, which is detrimental to them also being found on AI. But on Google, like when you look at a Google profile for somebody, you might see photos of their face if there's enough things about them on the internet. And then you'll see Google Maps, Google My Business listing if they're registered on Google Maps. But there's all these other knowledge panel things on Google that you can actually build out, but they don't advertise this stuff. And I'm trying to get a bunch of them for myself because my name is very Irish and everybody has my first and last name. Like Mike Duffy is not a unique name. I know there's like 1,000 doppelgangers out there they may not look like me, but they got the same name. So for me, it's a challenge to rank on Google because that's why I love YouTube so much, is because YouTube sends my backlinks even because these other Mike Duffys don't have the same type of authority on YouTube that I have. But I'm in this constant fight where I'm like, I want my name to show up more on Google search, but I don't have a Wikipedia article yet. I'm not on Grok. Like there's all these other things I'm working on in the back scenes, and it's like YouTube's always consistent. YouTube and Google Maps is always consistent, and my website. But anyway.
So I guess we've got 2 more minutes because I know you've got to take off. So does anybody else have any more questions for today? So put them in the chat or raise your hand if you've got any questions.
I,
Wanna, I
I
do.
didn't want today to be a rant about anything because I'm actually want to talk about broadcast clock because I know Kristen had asked a couple weeks ago about getting sponsorships, and I had mentioned you should just be putting your own ca- ads or call to actions at a certain interval in your show because obviously when doesn't matter if you're doing a short or a long or a live or whatever, just building into your script to remind your audience to support you by subscribing, sharing, or hey, I'm talking about this product or this service that I do. Here is how you go book it, right?
Mhm.
Because we just like when you watch broadcast TV, there's commercials.
Yeah.
This is how we've been trained to keep tuning into a certain program at a certain time. This is why I keep saying in all my lives Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. Eastern. Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern. What time do you show up? Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern, right? It's a plug. It's a call to action. It's a reminder to show up while we build this audience.
And that's the practice. Like even when I do my own lives, it's reminding
It's all,
myself that
it's,
certain intervals during my live that I'm promoting them to either, subscribe, share, go to my website, become a beta tester, etc. Right?
and it's okay to promote yourself because we're all business owners or have nonprofits or authors and promoting our book or we want to be stage speakers and we want to get booked on more stages. The only way this is going to happen is you promoting yourself because when somebody comes back and says, "Hey, can I see your electronic press kit?" and you don't have one, send them your YouTube videos saying, "This is what I talk about." And you either accept me as I am, unpolished, or don't accept me at all, right? And then if you actually need a real professional electronic press kit, then you're gonna have to go and make one and send them off to them. But links to your YouTube videos, perfect way to get started and introducing yourself pitching yourself to people. That's what I do. When I'm applying for jobs as YouTube producer, I literally record a video, throw it up on my YouTube, and send that video off to people to apply for YouTube producing jobs.
And I think that is also going to be the way of the future. People want to know you're real. right? And so it's going to be an interesting thing as we go through that. But I did want to do a shout out. We've started posting. We are planning a North American summer tour for the YouTube I Am YouTube Famous. So we've got that all going up in the background. So if you haven't like reached out if you'd like your location because we are looking for partners, like local partners to partner with. There, how many times can I say partner? We're looking for partners to work with, so we can promote both your own business as well as bring us there to help people in your area. So reach out if that is something you would like to see in your community, because that is what we're kind of going through right now. And we are still working on an 8-week program so we can kind of go more in depth and work one-on-one with everybody. And I know Mike's jumped off because he has to take off for his event. So do stay tuned if you want to watch him live. He's going to be talking at noon Central Time. So I guess that's 1 Eastern. So I'm sure he'll post it everywhere. You can't miss him. And if anybody else has any questions, other than that, I'm going to end the meeting for today. As always, thank you everybody for coming. And keep making content, keep your ideas going, and we will see everybody next week.